beautiful.
Hello lovers of the world, this is Cinta speaking. Here are the things that I've loved this month of October 2025. So I've been watching a few of these monthly favorites videos and I've noticed that there's like a category that people tend to follow. I've just followed my instinct and categorized it into three. So I've got music, words, and treasures. So let's start off with our first category. Here are some songs that I've been really enjoying for the past few weeks and that I've had on repeat a lot. Given that I usually only talk about music through the lens of an album in my channel, whether that's an album review or my what I listened to recently videos where I talk about every album that I've listened to in a month and then I would rank them in my tier list. These monthly favorite videos are a way for me to have a more casual, easygoing approach to talking about the music that I've loved. So the first song that I've been really liking is the song titled Lips of Sugar by Deyyess. So Deyyess is a female singer-songwriter that I've been really into. I discovered her through Instagram. She's been releasing singles consistently for the past 2 years now, but she hasn't released a fuller project yet. I think at most she's had an EP that combined all of the singles into one place, but not a full studio album yet. I'm trying to be patient because I've been really enjoying her music, which is why she's on this list, but I've been really enjoying her shoegaze inspired, dream pop inspired flavor of indie rock, women in male-dominated fields. And I'll put her name on the screen so that you can look her up because I don't know if I pronounced her name the right way. Another song that I've been really digging is one called New Me by WJSN. Ever since Dayoung went viral for her latest single Body, it just reminded me how much I loved WJSN. So for those who don't know, Dayoung is a solo artist nowadays who was a part of WJSN. They haven't officially disbanded, but they as a group have been inactive for many years now. But when they were active, I was really into their music. They were one of my favorite K-pop girl groups. I was just revisiting their discography and this one jumped out at me because this was released at a time when everyone was trying to reheat Blinding Lights by The Weeknd Nachos. But this also, to me, had a sprinkle of Style by Taylor Swift. If we're on the same wavelength, let me know like if you hear it. And then another song that I've been really listening to is Mess You Made by Michelle. So Michelle had sadly announced that they were going on a very extended hiatus, which was devastating news to me because they had just released a really great album last year and I thought that they were like gonna keep going up and up, and then they'd announced that they were split off indefinitely to like do their own thing. So it made me revisit the first song that I discovered from them and what really made me obsessed with them as a group, which is Mess You Made, especially when Emma, one of the singers, like does her like I was a bitch, and when you look at their live performances they always kind of switch it up a little bit so it's a little bit different. I'm praying for the best outcomes for their each of everyone's futures, and of course I'm like gonna follow their individual projects because they are so talented and so amazing. Another song that I've been really interested in is Folded by Kehlani. So this song had a bit of a viral moment. Like Kehlani has always been a very respected, well-praised R&B singer, but something about this song, when it dropped, everyone just latched onto it like crazy. It's probably because there were so many dance challenges that got born out of it, and also because of the virality of this single, Kehlani has reached out to other R&B legacy artists and had them include their own verse into the original song, which is like so insane. All these like really incredible like trailblazing R&B singers are like hopping on and adding in their own styles, and I'm like, wow, like this is how you know you made an impact. Next song is called Lost in Devotion by Charli Rae Jepsen. So it is the 10th anniversary of the pop bible itself, Emotion, and Charli has been releasing a few singles to celebrate, few new songs and 2 remixes of Runaway With Me. So out of the new songs that she's released, I have enjoyed Lost in Devotion the most. This is just such a perfect encapsulation of how Charli Rae Jepsen traps yearning and desire into one song. Like it's really like this ephemeral feeling. She can just bottle it up and give shape to it. It's really incredible how not just this song but all of the new songs that she's released to celebrate Emotion, they all are able to capture what Emotion had done. They just extended the magic. It's really like amazing. I love you, Charli Rae Jepsen. I love you, Charli Rae Jepsen. Okay, next song that I've been really loving, and this is one of the songs I've been on repeat for real. This is Stateside by PinkPantheress featuring Zara Larsson. I wasn't really a huge fan of Stateside, the original, when it came out. A good B-side, but it wasn't something that I went back frequently, unlike the other songs in the album. So like when I heard that Zara Larsson and PinkPantheress were teaming up, I was like, this is a diva convention. But then when I heard it, I was like, oh, like this is a mother diva convention. Like, you know what I mean? Like I had a feeling this was gonna be good, but like this exceeded my expectations, and I really like love this way more than the original. I think it's because of the Zara Larsson touch to it. I love her verse. I love what she did. It's giving like the B2B remix with Charli XX and Tinashe, where Zara Larsson is taking this song as an opportunity to affirm her newfound success. Like my favorite line that she sings is, "Who knew that opening up would make me a headline?" And she just has so many clever lines in this that I really enjoy. It's a little bit like different to the original meaning of the song, but I just think that, but it's just amazing that these two slay diva mothers got together and maximized their joint slay, fueling and feeding off of each other's successful energy. So I love to see it. We love to see it. And then the last song on the music category is called Tie You Down by Haim featuring Bon Iver. I had only just recently listened to the new Haim song. I know it's been out for a few months. Procrastinated listening to the album for so long that by the time I got around to it, they were about to release the deluxe album. So this is what that is. Like, it's a single to promote the deluxe version, which I still can't really like understand this new tactic that Western artists have done. It's a very like K-pop thing, actually, like the repackage culture. But funnily enough, now that I think about it, I don't see as often in K-pop. It's like the Western artists and the K-pop artists had like done a switcheroo. I used to see so much more like repackages where it's like the original album track list with like maybe 2 or 3 new songs in K-pop, whereas I'm more likely to see that in Western pop artists. I listened to the 3 new songs in the deluxe version of the Haim album, which is called I Quit, by the way, and I was like not as big of a fan of them. Like, actually this is probably the best one, and of course Bon Iver is on it, so are we surprised? This was on my front page of my Spotify dashboard, and I was in public when I opened the app, and I literally yelled. I was like, like I was just so gagged. I love it so much. It's really good. Might be in my year-end list. We'll see. Our next category I've titled Words. So this is a bit more of an eclectic section. I'm talking about anything that requires learning through words. This can include things like books, but also TV shows and video essays or videos on YouTube that I've liked. Number 1 is The ABC Murders by Agatha Christie. Wait a minute, I have a copy of this, so why don't I bring it out? What's the point of having this book if you're not going to bring it out to brag about how many books you own, right? The ABC Murders. So I'm in the process of filming videos in preparation for future videos, one of which is going to be like a bulk review of some Hercule Poirot books. Needed to reread this book basically to kind of flesh out the script more because I wasn't really satisfied with its original form. Rereading this, I realized that I have so much more to say about this book that I couldn't fit in the original planned bulk review video. So I have to actually set aside a lot of the notes I had written down in my second reread into a separate script for another video. So I guess there's something good about that. And I did manage to complete the original script in a way that I was satisfied with and in a way that didn't run too long, because if I had just like put everything that I had learned or thought about the book into that original video, it would be like 1 hour long. I need to stop making such long videos. Pretty happy with how this went. I actually really liked it a lot more in my second reread. I won't talk too much about the actual plot of the book or spoil it or anything, but this is such an interesting deviation from what Agatha Christie usually does. At the time, like the first time I read it, I didn't really know what to make of it, but now that I've read a little bit more and I've actually heard like a few people like review it and gotten their thoughts on the plot and the way she handled the story, I feel like I have a better grasp of explaining how I feel of the book and a better grasp of what she was trying to do with this book. So this was a really fun read. I would actually recommend this to somebody, and that was basically one of the only things I've read in October that wasn't like fanfic. And then second thing in my words category is a podcast episode. The podcast episode is called The Wild World Wide Web of Witches by the podcast Panic World. I found this episode really good. I've been following Panic World for a while. I think their episodes are really interesting. I learned so much through about different corners and pockets of the internet. This episode is one of the, to me, standouts because there's this part where they talk about this insight that made me sit up straighter and go like, wow, oh, like, you're right. Like, this episode is about like tracking or like attempting to track the history of the like magic through the internet. Talked about through the lens of Etsy witches, because there was this thing when C. Kirk died, Etsy witches had placed a curse on him, and everybody was like, did the curse work? Is this what you guys had intended? So the podcast episode tries to detangle that and like, what does that all mean? How did we get here and stuff? And the guest of the podcast said this thing that was so interesting about how your relationship and your expectations of what can happen through the internet is dependent on your entry point to the internet and like how you have used it growing up. Millennials or even older Gen Z, their relationship to what can happen because of the internet or through the internet or through platforms is different to like younger Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, because the millennials had grown up with the internet as like a fake place, a silly little thing, like it's not real life. You type things on your computer, but like you can shut down your computer and walk away and you can live your life. Like it's not supposed to be a permanent thing. You can post your things there and delete them and it's not a big deal. There was no like surveillance social media society that we lived in like the way we do now. But a younger Gen Z and Gen Alpha, that's not their reality. And you can organize through social media platforms. You can encourage people to do things and agree to do things with people you've never even met before. And so they used the examples of trying to Naruto run to Area 51, which I remember so clearly because that was like during so close to the pandemic years when young people were dressing up in suits to go watch the Minions movie. Like, people would just come up with crazy things and they were dedicated to doing those things. It wasn't just like silly jokes on the internet. People would post things and tell people what to do on the computer, and they would take it seriously, which is like a completely different relationship to the internet. And then I think that's how we go back into the concept of Etsy witches. If you can convince someone to do something without even meeting them, like, is that not a form of magic in its own way? So it was just a really interesting conversation that I enjoyed, and it made me like really rethink like, oh, what is my relationship with social media and the internet as a technically, I'm 1998, so like what is my relationship? But I'm different because I lived in the Philippines. My introduction to the internet got a bit delayed because we were like a third world country, and then I moved to New Zealand, and then it became different. But I still remember pockets of my life. If you wanted to find out where someone lived, you would use the yellow pages, yellow book, like a phone book. You relied on the newspaper to find out what time your favorite TV show is gonna go on, and like it was just such a different world. Like, so yeah, I really enjoyed that podcast. I found it very insightful, and that's why it's on this list. And then the last thing on my words section is a video titled "Why the World's Rarest Fish is Trapped in the Hottest Desert on Earth." And this is kind of a random pick. Sometimes I forget that I have a Bachelor of Science degree. And then I'm like, oh, why do I like watching science videos? I'm like, yeah, because I studied it during undergrad. So I got recommended this video and I clicked on it out of curiosity, as one does. And was surprised by how much it struck a chord with me, because as the title says, this is about like fish that you can only find in the groundwater in the middle of the desert everywhere else, but because the water is like really deep underneath, so there's just fish living underneath the desert. It's this like American research facilities that is entirely dedicated to like monitoring the fish, checking the temperature of the water, making sure they're okay. And like the fish are like tiny. And then towards the end, the two main speakers answered the big question of like, why should we care? And of course, on the surface level, we can all agree that protecting endangered animals is a good thing. But I think the way they answered it was so succinct and straightforward that I just like wanted to remember it, so that whenever I came across somebody who posed me the same question, I would be able to use their answers to convince them of this further. So one answer was, well, human beings are the ones who have basically made them even rarer. Their populations are dwindling down because of climate change and the increasing temperatures. Even though they live in a desert, the increasing temperatures is making it difficult for them to adapt as fast as the climate is changing. Since humans are the ones causing this change in the first place, the responsibility falls on us to basically try to reverse the damage that we have done to them. Like, they didn't do anything, like it's our duty to do that. And then the second way that they've answered this question was, well, like this fish have somehow miraculously survived this long in the most extreme conditions ever, and you know, the climate is unfortunately only gonna get worse over time. So if we study these fish, we could actually end up learning so much about how we as human beings and other animals probably in the future, how they can survive extreme heat. If we take care of the fish, and the more we learn about them, the more we can use that and adapt those strategies into our daily lives and to other research. And I was like, oh my god, like you condensed like such a profound and poignant argument into basically like two to 3 or 4 sentences. This is what makes you a really like excellent science communicator, is when you can like boil down like significantly complex arguments into the simplest, like most straightforward interpretation ever. Like, I just thought it was so impressive. So, and the last category is called treasures. So this is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to show you all of the new items and objects that I've gained or have joined my collection since this month. And because it was my birthday, this section is going to be a lot bigger than it will be in the future probably. So I will include some of the gifts that I received. Okay, since I started talking about the gifts first, I'll go through some of them. Again, not all, because this is already very long. This was supposed to be like a casual video, and this is already like the same length as my other videos. So that's anyway, so we'll speed run this. So I got this zine called Fruit Basket from a collection of New Zealand creatives. This was a gift from my friends Sophia and Nico. Thank you very much. This is a scented candle from my friend Gina. It smells amazing. I'm obsessed with how it smells. It's like vanilla and like, oh, I think she said it was strawberries and cream. So it does smell like strawberries and cream. It's incredible. I love it so much. Like, I can't stop smelling it. And then I got these like beautiful crocheted earrings. I don't think she made it herself, but it's from another local artist. My friend Louisa gave me these, like they're sunflower earrings. They're cute AF. And then my older sister got me this board game because I am a certified murder mystery lover. It is, I don't know if the lighting shows it, but it's the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, the Baker Street Irregulars. It's like a board game where you're supposed to solve the mystery, and there is 10 case booklets. So there's 10 possible murders or mysteries that you're supposed to solve. It's still in its casing. I haven't had the chance to play it with people yet, but I am very excited. And then my younger sister, she treated me to a ceramics paintings class, but I painted this beautiful jewelry box. As you can see, like, I love this pattern, and you can tell that I love a certain palette of colors. And my sister, she painted this coaster for me for my cold drinks. The condensation will like leak into the desk. So I said when we were doing our ceramics painting session that like I would like a coaster that would catch the water dripping down the sides. And yeah, that's all of the gifts I'd like to talk about, because again, we would be here for ages. So it's October. If you're a Swiftie, maybe you've heard of a little something called The Life of a Showgirl. I won't explain too much because it's such a long I could make it a long story, but long story short, I went to a listening party for the Life of a Showgirl album in my city with my friend. At the venue, it was a record store. They set up these crafts tables and they printed off these like really cute, actually I thought this was really cute, postcards that you could decorate. So Life of a Showgirl, and you can see the name of the record store, and then it's like pretty good quality prints of the concept photos she dropped before the album got released. They provided us with these like beads and stickers and, you know, the feathers. Me and my friend, as we were listening to the album, you could decorate your own personal postcard. I had a really good time with my friend. The album, don't talk to me about the album. Let me talk about the books that I bought. So if you watched my last video, then you'll know that I bought like a huge stack of books. So I won't go too in-depth into all of them. I will just quickly like go through the titles and show the covers really quickly. So I bought this copy of Unnatural Death by Dorothy L. Sayers, this copy of The Daughter of Time by Josephine Tey. I have Sir Fate of Lampreys by Niall Marsh. I have Final Curtain by Niall Marsh. I have Hand in Glove by Niall Marsh. And lastly, I have Death in a White Tie by Niall Marsh again. So quite a few Niall Marshes in my collection. My goat, I bought this copy of Peril at End House by Agatha Christie. And then I have more books that didn't end up being on the book haul video, but I will probably talk about them in a future video. So again, I will just speed run through it. I bought a copy of Evil Under the Sun by Agatha Christie. This I found through Trade Me. I think the cover is quite charming. I usually hate movie covers, but now it matches with my copy of Death on the Nile. They're both having Peter Ustinov. I was shopping for my friend's birthday gift, and I was going through thrift stores, and then I walk into this thrift store, and the first thing I see, bruh, an Agatha Christie crime collection book, and it is 450 from Paddington, Lord Edgware Dies, and Murder in Mesopotamia. I love Murder in Mesopotamia. It's one of my favorite Agatha Christie books of all time. Because I already bought a copy of Peril at End House, I was like, I might as well just buy this because now I can have Lord Edgware Dies, Peril at End House, and Death on the Nile. So now I can make this video essay. If you know, you know. I won't spoil it. But I don't really love 450 from Paddington as much, but I think I was like, whatever, you can't win them all. Like 2 out of 3 ain't bad. It's kind of the same thing with the other Agatha Christie crime collection book I have, but where I only like 2 out of the 3, but like again, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm like really trying to speed through this. Those are all the books that I have bought, and then we are gonna move on to music related items. So I bought myself a cassette tape player. Yes! So this works as a radio as well, but I really wanted a cassette tape player that could play out loud. I actually already have a cassette tape player, but you can only listen to it through like headphones, and I wanted something that I can have playing out loud while I like clean my room. That one like is really bulky and heavy, like you have to have it attached to you, and I was just like really scared of moving and like it dropping because it's already quite delicate. So I bought this. I filmed an unboxing video of it that I'm gonna upload to shorts, so hopefully you'll see that eventually. And then lastly, I've got 2 new CDs. So this one, I have filmed another unboxing video short, so go check it out. But this is because I was telling you that Michelle disbanded. I panic bought this because sunk in that they were gonna be gone for a long time, and because they're indie, I was like, oh my god, like what if like the absolute worst case scenario happens and like we don't have access to the music anymore? Like I don't know, I just like panicked. So then I went and bought a copy of Songs About You specifically. This is, I think, like my favorite project that they've done. I'm glad that I bought this. It makes me feel better that I have a little piece of this band that who knows if they're gonna like come back together. Like you never know when bands go into indefinite hiatus. Here it is in all its glory. And then this CD, I thrifted this from a thrift store. This is the Alanis Morissette Jagged Little Pill album. So I actually only listened to this year. This album is officially 20 years old because it was released in 1995. I just felt like it was so serendipitous that she would end up in my hands, and it was $2. Like what was I supposed to do? Leave her behind? Like, no. And wow, that's it. Like, thank you for watching this video. Let me know what your thoughts are on the things that I mentioned in the video, or what your favorites of the month were in the comment section. I hope you have a good rest of the day. I can't wait to share my love with you again next time. So I'll see you soon. Bye.